Hi guys and girls, welcome back to my channel. I do hope you're doing well. As you can tell, this is our final sit down with Shan. Guys, how have we sat down for the past year and had 12 topics where we literally sit and put the world to rights? We chat, we talk, we discuss, you guys send everything in. How has the year just flown by? And I thought, you know what, because it's quite fitting with what's going on if you're watching Vlogmas or anything in current situation, why don't we end it on something that hopefully we can leave in 2023 and not take into 2024? And that, my lovelies, is workplace dramas. Workplace stresses, uncomfortable workplaces. How best can we help each other moving into the new year when it comes to our jobs? Whether we love them, whether we hate them, let's put all of our ideas together, because I know for one, your girl needs a new job next year, okay? This is the way it has got to be, and she's doing everything she can to try and source what she wants to do. Because to be honest, guys, I don't know. I want to just buy a camper van and go off travelling, but I know that's not sustainable. So, yes, I thought, why don't... We're speaking about it in Vlogmas. You would have seen I had to take a little bit of time out from my workplace due to certain reasons, and why don't we have a big discussion? And you know what? I've got answers from you guys from all different levels. So we've got it from the manager's view, we have it from the staff's view, we have it from people outside looking in, looking with their partners at how they are. So you know what? I'm actually really looking forward to this. And as I say, at the end of it, hopefully we can just leave the BS drama of the workplace in 2023. I also do have my new mug. My new gingerbread cheer. This doesn't have gingerbread latte, it only has a cappuccino in it, which is probably still quite piping hot. So we're going to leave that for a moment. I've got the trusty old iPad. I need to sort out iPad covers. I feel like I need seasonal ones. We need to like change it up. Is it bad? I actually thought of just doing, you know, the AllThingsShannon. Because it's going to be in my videos. We could have like a sit down with Shan version, a scandals with Shan. We've got so many ideas coming for next year, and fingers crossed it's all just about trying to implement them and put them in place. It's all baby steps, okay guys? But yes, Shannon, stop rabbiting, and let's get in with our final sit down with Shan of 2023. Right, so I asked you guys over on my Instagram, and as I say, come the new year, guys, all things lifestyle and all things food, they will be deleted. So please make sure you've got the new one, which is just AllThingsShannonLeighxx on Instagram. Make sure you're following that, because that will be where the new question polls are, where everything to do with getting involved in the channel will be. It's always down in the description box below. Also, if you want to send me an email, what I will do is save your details, and then when I do the guise of we're doing sit down, scandal, mukbang, anything like that, I send an email out to you all. You all get blind copied in, so no one gets anyone's data, and you can respond via that way if you want to send anything in and get involved. But yes, the majority, it was actually quite 50-50 looking at it. Some was Instagram and some was email. So yes, let's get into them. And these are like long ones, which I love, because it actually gives you like a full story of everything. So let's have a look. One of my lovelies, right, where are we? I need to, you know when you look and I think, how have I got to that? Yes. So one of my lovelies says, I worked for a big company, but all promotions were given to the men. So after 4 years of working my tush off, I left and went working for a smaller company who saw my potential again and looked after me very well. I previously from a school worked my way up in a company for 18 years to management, but relocated again and loved that job and felt valued. I do think so many people treat you as an object, not seeing full potential, and I'm not working for people like that. I'm all here for that. This is the thing. It's oh, what's this now? Oh, not change me phone contract. I had to renew my phone contract today. You know when they give you the survey messages. So I feel that is a really big thing within a workplace. You have to feel valued. If you don't feel valued, you're literally just a payroll number. And I understand sometimes you have such companies that are so large and on the grand scale of things, you can't get a personal recognition or anything like that. But it's just the feeling of acknowledgement and like kind of, oh, you know what, well done. Like that's all it needs. It doesn't need the big song and dance. And for that to be in a company and all the promotions were given to men, I feel like they need to get in the 21st century, because women are just as equal to have pay rises right about now. And you know what? Sometimes it is better going towards smaller companies because, as you say, they clearly saw your potential again and worked your way up to management. So I think it's hard because with the cost of living, you have to go where the money is. But what I'm starting to realise lately is money is not everything. I would rather have a pay cut, which I am. I have had my overtime cut by my company by almost half. So yeah, cost of living is going up and they've cut my overtime down. They're using the time that I had off for the reasons I had off. They're using that now as I couldn't cope with my workload, which is a load of BS. I never complained about the workload. I complained about how things were in there. So yeah, they're penalising me to say the least. So I thought, you know what? I am going to get paid as much as I can for doing the bare minimum now. To be perfectly honest, I'll go in. I've been allowed 6.5 hours overtime a week. That's what I've been allowed. I could sometimes do 10 to 15 hours a week. So yeah, that's where you can see like the comparison of what they've dropped. And that is all again about feeling valued. There is no value, I think, within my workplace. You're just a payroll number, unfortunately. And I do agree, you have to love a job and feel valued, because at the end of the day, guys, we're pretty much at our workplaces, sometimes more than we're at home. So you have to enjoy it, because otherwise you're literally living to work. And I don't like that saying. I like the saying of you're working to live. I work so I can live my life how I am. I can live to go to these little places and hop off, and if I want that bag, I'll get that bag. Like, you shouldn't be living to work. And I feel that's what it comes down to, because you feel sometimes with everything going up in the world, taxes, everything like that, I think like we're probably one of the worst countries for tax and council tax and national insurance. Like, everything is just a con-making scheme from the government to penalise the working class. You know what I would love for Christmas? And I saw it on Instagram. It was like, dear Santa, I would just like my gross pay for 1 month for Christmas. Because when you see your gross to your net, it's sickening. Like, it's actually like you sit there and you think, what is the point? Like, genuinely, what is the point? And you look at it and you think, so all them hours, half the time I lose my overtime and more through tax. And you know, when you just think like, how does that even, it doesn't even comprehend. But I am so glad that you have found somewhere where you have been recognised and you've worked your way up. Let's have a look. One of my lovelies says, bring banter and fun, but also be professional when needed to. Be honest and never stay. I like this. You got to have a bit of banter. You've got to have a bit of fun in your workplace, because, as I say, we're there half the time more than we're at home. And if we didn't, it would be a poor old do. We don't need to get into military style, which I feel is what my workplace is coming to. Like, they've stopped pretty much all banter. And in the industry that I work in, you have to have the banter, because the office used to be predominantly men now, but it's kind of more 50-50 with women and guys now. But you have to have that personality that you can take on the banter, and if someone says something and you're like you're not going to get offended and run off or anything like that, because it is a very tongue-in-cheek environment. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm all here for a bit of fun and games. What I don't like is when people give it and they can't take it. So someone will dish something out, you'll give it back, they can't take it, and then it turns malicious. They'll always go personal, and it's like, there's no need for that. Why is there any need for that? Honestly, we're all grown adults. How I deal with it, and how when we've had discussions and we all get called into a HR and everything, I'm very much like, I'm more than competent if someone's got a problem to be like, let's go outside. And whether that be you verbally exchange things, whether you throw hands. I mean, my HR is like, you do not throw hands, la la la. And I'm like, sometimes that's the only way that people listen. And I'm not about to let someone speak to me like a piece of poop, you know? So, yeah, I'm not in my HR's good books, because they like people who are yes people. They just want people to go along and be like, yes, 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 which I do to a degree. I follow the rules. But if things start getting personal and I think you're trying to take the mick, I'm like, no, I'm going to finish this and squash it pronto. So, yes. And also, be honest. You always have to be honest. I think if you aren't honest, things build up, and you have to, because as I say, you're in that environment more time than you're at home. When you're at home, you're sleeping pretty much most of the time. I think we worked out the other night, like we get 2.5, 3 hours together, because people say, oh, you and your partner, like, you work together and you live together. But when you work out, like, we don't really see each other at work apart from our breaks, because we're in different departments. When we're here, it's like, right, bath, bed, dinner. Like, there's all things when really just to sit down and watch a film or get in the bath, it's probably like a few hours a day. So yeah, you have to be honest and never stay quiet. Yes. I don't have that trouble of not staying quiet. That's probably my downfall. If you were to ask my bosses what my downfall is, I'm probably too vocal. I'm probably too vocal. I probably say things that I shouldn't, and I probably pee people off with my honesty. You know what, as I say, if you can't take it, don't dish it. And that goes for a lot of things in life in general, whether that be in a workplace, whether that be in friendships, relationships, anything like that. I think if people are very quick to jump on bandwagons and voice their opinions, and I think that's all well and good, but when people want to voice their opinion or retaliate back, all of a sudden it's not allowed. And I think, if you can't take it, then I suggest you keep your mouth shut and we just carry on with our business, because I am known to be quite brutal. Like, I have no bars held. If someone wants to say something to me and I think it's rude, I'm like, okay, I'll let you have that. And I'll spin around and I'll give you a few home truths. And you know what? 99% of the time, people don't like the home truths. So half the time, it's better for me to just stay zipped. Because if this gets unleashed, guys, you know Shaniqua. Shaniqua will make the biggest person feel like that. Because I won't have any bars held. Okay? And I think you have to be like that. You can't stay quiet in work, because otherwise people think they can walk over you, and that is that is not the way we do things over here. We like to stand up for ourselves, and damn right, why don't we stand up for ourselves? Right, let's have a look. We've got another one. So this is another perspective. Hi Shan, couldn't fit all in what I wanted in the Q&A section. So the thing on Instagram, they do not give you big enough boxes to type everything. So a lot of you guys send me DMs on Instagram, which is absolutely fine. I love my colleagues and we're one big family. Most of the time, as you can imagine, when it's a lot of women working together, the management always thinking of things for the clinical support workers to do most of, which is BS. And the annoying thing is they know your role or don't actually know how to do your job or what entails because they've never done it. So this is a multitude of things, right? So you're one big family. That's great. I think it's really good to have that work, personal life, balanced relationship. As I say, there's only a few people in my workplace that I would genuinely like get on and speak to outside of work. The rest I'm like acquaintances in my working hours, and that's about it. A lot of women working together. I genuinely don't get on well in groups of women because quite bitchy, to be honest. It will always be said behind your back and not to your face, or indirect. And I'm a very direct person, guys. I think you know that if you've been watching me for a while. I'm very direct and I say it how it is, and if people don't like it, then tough titties, as Dan would say. That's his thing at the moment, tough titties. I'm like, okay, that's his way of vocalizing himself. Like, yeah, what do you have? Crap happens, another one. But yes, this is what annoys me when people say I could do that job, or so and so could do that job. Well, you know what? Take the goddamn job. Take it off my hands. If you think you can do better, oh, please take it off my hands. And then when you realise you can't, or you realise actually there's more than meets the eye to this, don't be coming back to me to give it back to me, because I'll be like, I'll wash my hands of that. Toodle pip, see you later. I'm going to sit with my cappuccino and watch you. Because I think it's very quick and easy for people to jump on this bandwagon of, I could do that. Well, it's not hard. It's just a few clicks of a button. The thing in my job is I do a lot of reports and data analysis. And a lot of people will have a lot of ideas for these reports and that. And I'll be like, I don't think it could work, or it potentially can't do that. And it'll be like, yeah. And this will come from people who have never run a report or an analysis in their life, or pretty much don't know how to turn computers on. So I'm all here for helping people. But I think when work will be put upon you which is not achievable, like, I like to think I'm fairly smart within the computer side, like my software, my reports and that. I would like to say I'm quite good. As say, you guys know I have to do like the accounting side for this, and then I give it to the accountant. He does the big boy stuff, but I do all the collations and everything. It's not for me to then go to someone and be like, you know what? You're a manager. I could do your job. All you do is sit and like dish out emails. Like, what do you actually do? That's not, everyone has their role and everyone has their jobs and everyone has their tasks, and everyone has them for specific reasons because they obviously do them well. And if it's a case of, well, it's not really working, by all means take that off me. By all means take that off me. I mean, a lot of you say to me, Shan, what is your job? And I'm like, I actually don't know. I actually don't know. I'm in construction and I have a multitude of things that goes from dealing with accounts, dealing with Lolas and health and safety with machinery, dealing with the PAT testing of electrical equipment on site, dealing then with the data analysis and the reports, delaying. What was I trying to say then? Detailing. I have no idea. Detailing, say, cost spends, everything like that. So my job is very varied. And when it's like you're off, not everyone will be able to cover that. And you come back and you're in that little predicament and you're like, great, no one's covered me, so let's play catch up. But yeah, I think it's very easy for people to say, oh, I can do that. And you know what I'd say? Put my shoes on then and go do it and see how it is. Because there's no need to be putting people down. Everyone's in a role for a reason. And as I say, when people get promotions or people like maybe take a different path, that's completely up to them. So the way that I feel at the moment, I've got something I want to speak to you guys about in January, because I should have started on the 1st of December. I probably should have actually just done it to start on the 1st of January because everything with Vlogmas, I'm busy with you guys, and I thought, you know what, I haven't got the time to actually start it. But me being me, I wanted to have the materials and resources there in case I did. So I'm probably going to be starting something the 1st of January, of which I have 6 to 8 months to complete. Once I do that, I definitely want to start building on that and potentially not move the channel a different way, but it will help my channel quite a lot, and it could also help me slowly branch away from work. So what I would love to do is, whatever job I'm in, I'm not saying I'm staying at this current job, whatever job I'm in, I would like to do 3 days a week. Then I would like to have 1 day for my filming and doing content for you guys, and then the other day would be to do what I'm doing in January. And then that actually gives me the weekend to relax. That is the goal. Me and Dan was talking about this when we was away, and we was like, right, where do we see ourselves in the next couple of years? And I was like, part-time employed work, and then like 2 days or more self-employed work in essence. Like, I want it to be more of a balance and not 5 days and then 2 days for yourself, but one of them days you're back-to-back filming, you can't really do much, and then that's it, it's gone. So yeah, there's a lot of ventures and ways that we think we can get there. And as I say, it will take time, but pardon me, there's a lot of projects we want to do. We're like looking at homes, we're looking at travels, the camper van, everything like that. So I think the next few years will definitely be interesting ones, and you guys get to come along for the wacky journey as well. I mean, if you'll stay around with us. But I proper took a detour on that, ain't it? The moral of that story, my darlings, is if you're going to put yourself in someone's shoes, be prepared to take that on fully, and you say it how it is. Say it how it is. I just realised it matches my dressing gown, all in red. Let's have a look. Right. One of my lovelies says, "Hi Shannon, hope you are all doing well. Where do I begin? I find it very stressful in working environments. Having stress-related epilepsy does not help no matter what job I do, and I've had a very small amount of support in certain places of work, especially retail and places that I do not know or research on my health condition. Not only that, job centres aren't always that supportive either. They see a job and just expect you can do it, like they don't read the notes or try placing me in work with computers or stressful places. Where I have tried going for most places of work, the training is either online or it involves so much training that I find it too hard to cope. Not only do I live with epilepsy, but I am also struggling with depression, where I lost my dad 2 years ago in August, and I'm still finding it hard to deal with. I am grateful that I have my mum and my boyfriend who support me in my choices and have my back no matter what." So first off, I know this lady. Mwah, you know who you are. So I've actually been reading up on stress-related epilepsy because I don't have epilepsy, touch wood, my nan did. And we always thought it was where nan had an accident at work. Nan used to be, if you remember, kind of in the olden days on like the deli meat counters, when you would slice meat. From what I gather, I've never really seen one now. I don't think they're around, probably for health and safety reasons. But it used to be, Mum said it was like a brush that you pulled to slice the meat. Well, Nan was doing that one day and the wire snapped and like hit Nan's head, cut her head, all of that jazz. And then Nan started having fits. So they say it was like probably because of the trauma of what she'd had done, and just like, boom. However, sometimes I have stages at work where I have to be careful whether it's my hypoglycemia or it could be something else, where I sit there and all of a sudden, you know, you see the white flashing lights and I go really lightheaded, and normally majority of the time it is my sugar. But there have been a few instances where I get really tingly hands, and I'll always make sure I'm sitting down because I think, oh, heaven forbid, I definitely do not want to be KOing on the floor. But stress-related epilepsy, from what I've read, is actually on the rise, and it's where, I don't know the scientific, so please don't come for me, but the brains can't cope in essence with the stress of life at the moment. Life is, compare life to say maybe 20, 30 years ago, it's a lot more technology, so you're on screens, the glares, everything like that. There's a lot more stress, there's a lot more pressure, and our bodies just can't cope with it at the moment. And there needs to be more support out there. Like, it baffles me that you say on there where job centres should almost be like a one-on-one, you know, like a school tutor. They sit down, what would you like to do? Right, I can't do this because of that. Right, we'll find you. I do agree with what you say, like they must just see a job and think, yep, off you go. But that's not always the case, and they need to take people's needs and thoughts and like abilities into consideration. You can't just put someone in who has a stress related illness in, say, I don't know, like a manic shop floor. It's just something that you wouldn't do. And I think nowadays a lot of people think, go to the job centre, they'll find a job that, but it's not always the best thing. You need someone to actually be like, right, what would you like to do? Or do you have any hobbies or skills, what we could do, like maybe volunteering to start off with? There needs to be more options. And as I say, struggling with losing your dad, that again is something that they need to take into consideration, because you can't be thrown into something when you're still processing grief. And as I say, grief can take years to process. At the weekend, we went down to Windsor, which you'll see in Vlogmas, and we also detoured, because I didn't realise Windsor was that side of the water. Silly me, I'm not great with geography. And I thought, you know what, while I'm over there, because Mama G's family, they're all from Kent side, I was like, I'm going to pop to my nan and granddad's grave and put all the Christmas flowers on. And my nan has been passed next year 10 years, and next year my granddad is 20 years. I tell you now, when I walk up to that grave, I still see an open grave. I still see me sitting on the side with my legs dangling in, sitting there crying. And it's such a surreal, like, it hits you back to reality. And like, we was there and Dan was helping cut the flowers and I was doing the water and we was putting it there and I was having a little chat and he was putting the rubbish away, bless him, for me. And like, you stand there and I think how much you've missed out on. Like, I would have loved my nan and granddad to still be alive now, just to see like where I've been or what's happened. God, my nan would probably be like, what on earth are you doing with your life, Shan? But yeah, and it's so weird to think like 10 years and 20 years next year, and I'm like, I still remember being that 9 and 19-year-old, and all of a sudden like it takes you back. And it's a vulnerability that I've never took anyone to my grandparents' grave, and he knew that, and he said like that was a big thing for him as well, because he knows that I've never taken anyone there, like long-term partners or anything like that, because that's kind of been like my little safe place. When we used to speak, and it'd be like, so if you were to run away, or like say someone couldn't get hold of you, where would you go? And I didn't even have to say it. He said, I think you'd be at your grandparents' grave. And I'm like, get out my head. Like, you know me too well, because that is my safe place there. I just wish it was closer to us. But yeah, it's just, you have to seize the moments. You can't take for granted thinking, oh, I have tomorrow. If you're not happy somewhere, change. And as I say, that's what I'm trying to do. That's really what I'm trying to do. But where I was getting with that is, you lost your dad 2 years ago. Nan and granddad was like 9 and 19 at the moment. it will still hit you. And as I say, my inbox is always open for you, my darling. If you ever need a chat, you know where I am, okay? And lots of love to you all. One of my lovelies says, I work in a supermarket and it can be very stressful at the moment, especially with rude customers. But my colleagues in management help as much as they can. But however, it is the busy season near Christmas. Now, I don't get this. Why are people rude in supermarkets? Like, we go to Tesco's and I don't know, there's no Brussels sprouts, for example. You'll get people to the greengrocer men. Where's your Brussels? Oh, we're sold out. Oh, how can you be sold out? Just get another veg. There's a whole row of vegetables. Unless you're doing something where you purely just eat Brussels sprouts, why can you not just get another one? I think it gets you nowhere getting arsey. Like, not having stock, that's not their fault. That's not the delivery driver's fault. If they can't produce it, they can't produce it. But I can imagine, and as I say, when I was in retail, you do have to bite your lip. You do have to bite your lip. It's hard. It is hard indeed, but customer's always right. Service with a smile. Let's have a look. Where are we? Oh, one of my lovelies says, nothing to do with work, but was thinking about what about doing different shops stuffing for taste, because you can taste the difference in them all. Lots of love from Ireland. I really need to get into doing stuffing next year, guys, because that's the only thing on me roast dinners that I don't actually do homemade. I just use my Tesco mix or Paxo if it's on an offer at B&M. I will have a look into that in the new year. I will indeed. Hi Shan, hope the three of you are doing well. When I was working as a senior carer, I loved my job and believe the service users should be treated with respect and like your own grandparents. Amen to that. On one shift, I walked in on one of my colleagues raising her hand to a lovely woman. I was so mad. I did tell her if she did it, I'd hit her twice as hard. Oh, I tell you what, darling. If I'd have seen that outside. You have to, this is why my nan never went in a home, because I would actually, I think, have got to go and do time if anyone hurt my nan. My nan went in a rehabilitation place, which was kind of like daycare, but she stayed there for a couple of weeks when she'd broke her leg and she had to have like daily physio. So we couldn't get her from home that because her whole leg was in like a huge cast. She had a big metal thing in it. So they kept her at the rehabilitation centre. Daily physio. Me and mum was there every day. And luckily the people that we had was lovely. And when nan used to have carers come in, they was always lovely. Because I think if you see these videos and you hear these stories and I think, what would I have done if that was nan? I wouldn't be here, I tell you that right now. I would be probably in Her Majesty's or His Majesty's, because absolutely not. I took this to management and was told, oh, it's okay, we all do it. I certainly didn't and would never, as it's an honour to look after someone who needs help for the rest of their lives. I completely agree that. People live their life, they do their things, whatever. Everyone needs help along the way. And to be able to care for someone who is vulnerable who does require your assistance, it is, and it should be, you should be thankful and lucky that someone's trusting you like that, because it's a very, depending on the age and the situation, everything like that, you don't know, that could be someone's like final times, and heaven forbid anyone makes it horrible, like absolutely not, no. I did report this hire and I left. I couldn't be there in case I saw it again. I don't know if anything was done, and I hope for the residents' sake it was, as it's now under new management. You have to, I'm glad that you reported it higher, and then, because if I'd have gone to my manager and been like, this has happened, and they're like, oh, we all do it, I'd be like, well, I hope you ain't including me in that, because I certainly don't do it. And I think you should probably resign, darling, because clearly if that's the attitude that you have, what else could you be condoning? Like, absolutely not. There was an incident one day and mum said she was in a shop, something happened, and she was talking to someone. They was getting a bit irate with her because mum used to be in retail, and they was like, la 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 la. I said to mum, I tell you now, if we was ever out and I see someone like, I would tell them politely, I suggest you remove your finger from my mother's face, because if not, I'm going to break it. And mum said, how'd you do it? And she put her finger out, and I done a quick twist, and she was like, oh, Shan. I was like, I did do it hard. I didn't hurt Mama G, guys. Don't be coming for me in the comments. I'm not hurting her. But I said, like, this is how you do it. She went, she's just getting turned. I was like, yeah. And she was like, oh. I was like, that's why. If anyone I'm like, right, please get your finger out of my face, because I'm going to break it. There have been a few occasions where people think, and they'll prod you even in a joking. I don't like the pointing finger because I'm like, that's like, boom. Absolutely not. But yeah, hopefully now under new management, they have better staff in there, my lovely. Right, another one of my lovelies. First, love you loads. Mwah, love you lots back. Years since I worked, but when I first started, we had a headmaster who was brilliant. No problems till we were replaced with a woman, and oh my god, the nasty biatchy side that was never there before came out in some staff. And did she do anything? No. All I did was keep my head down and did my job. Stop to do the extras that we never got paid for. This is another thing. Staff and companies forget when staff do them favours or staff help out and go that extra mile. And then what will happen, they will be like, oh no, you know what? We're not going to do it this way. It's going to happen like this. And you're going to pee off your staff. You're going to pee off your staff and you're going to lose the good workers because they're going to think, you know what? Sodger. From what I have seen, the women are worse to work with and for. From what you've said, the HR at your place is a woman, which says it all. It does, darling, it does. The only way to deal with it, sweetheart, is keep looking for another job. I'm still job hunting. I am going to get my CV spick and span over the Christmas period. I'm going to make myself creme de la creme in whatever area field I want to go into, and we shall see. Send your CV out to as many companies as you can. You have plenty going as such as your YouTube channel, and that takes a lot on top of your job. Thank you very much. The daughter told me that a CV has to have something that catches a person reading it from the get-go, or like in her case, which it's been years, they sent her Safari online and it was new at the time. And the rest is history. We'll say name company, but don't say on channel. All right, okay. Look them up. Fingers in many pies. Lots of love and hugs, sweetheart. Lots of love and hugs back. This is the thing, right? So you have to have your fingers in pies, don't you? You can't just be in one. But I feel that that is a generational thing because mum was retail and construction. Dada has always been construction. My granddad was a crane driver. My nan was a bus clippy and retail. Granddad up north was always in construction. So you stick to one or two. I think of my working career, I would say. I have done my hospitality when I was a chef. That was what I trained for and that's what I'd done for about a year or so. I then went into retail and was in retail for about 2.5 years and then went over to the administration side where I then was like the regional sales admin. So I worked my way up to there. I then was a PA within private nurseries. I was then a... I can't remember the name, faculties manager, like maintenance booker-inner, like looking overseeing certain departments. Then I went into construction, which was heavy plant, diggers, everything like that, to now construction, what I do now, slightly on a different scale, more electronics, more like tools and bits and bobs, like power tools and access equipment, stuff like that. But I've gone more into like health and safety side now. So I like to think I have my fingers in all these pies. Also with that, I do social medias. I have YouTube. Like I like to think I have quite a varied thing. But that, where does it get you? But as I say, I will keep going because you think, you know what, I could go back into retail, I could go back into the kitchen. Like, you never know, but it's always good to have that experience. And as I say, I stayed at my jobs pretty much quite a few years. I think my longest was 4.5 years. But then I start to get itchy feet and I feel like I've been at my place next year 5 years and I'm like, okay, like I need to branch on and I need to move and kind of try something else. But I'm thinking, where else do I go? I don't know. Where else do I go, my lovelies? Let's have a look. Another one of my lovelies. Hi. Unfortunately, I don't work anymore as serious illnesses that affects my hands and feet. I'm a lot on painful meds, including morphine. So as you know, I run my own group for lost pets, which is absolutely amazing. And that takes up every day, starting at 9 AM, finish 1 or 2 AM. I only get 3 hours sleep with illness, but I do have to deal with the public on my group. And any row start, I have to jump in to find out what's going on and tell them both take it away from the group. And if they get a warning, they get a warning, take away from the group. And if not, I remove them and block them. See, you can't be having stuff like that, can you? I don't feel the need for when people publicly like jump on bandwagons and just create unnecessary drama online. I really don't get it, guys. I also have to see stuff nobody likes, i.e. animal cruelty, before I approve it, which if I don't and I don't want it on the group, I won't be punished. Sometimes people don't like how I do things, like the new members. I have been doing it now for 8 years, so I know what I'm doing. I have nearly 10,000 members now. That is absolutely amazing. And I'm hoping I hit it before Christmas Day. I'm about 50 away from 10,000. However, I do get cocky people who try and be smart with me again, new ones, so I can see everyone's profile in my group, and I sneak on to see what it's like. And if there's something I don't like, you get blocked before coming in. There's lots to the group that I cover, all kind of things, as mental health, self-harm, grief. I even have people ring me in the early hours who are struggling just to have a chat. And I've saved lives doing it. You name it, I speak about it. And that's my job, and I love it, being my own boss. I love that for you. I mean, can we just say you're almost at 10,000 on your page? Absolutely phenomenal. And that is such a selfless thing that you're doing, especially for animals, because we all know animals don't have a voice. And losing a pet, oh my God, I can't. If I ever lost my LV, whew, I would not sleep until he was back in here. But as you say, dealing with people with grief and blocking, why do people feel they need to try and one-up you? As I say, you know what you're doing. You're at almost 10,000. You know what you're doing. You've built a name for yourself. You've built a reputation. People don't need to. I think people who are like that are just busybodies. And you know what I say? We don't need busybodies. We don't have time for busybodies. If people feel the need that they have to try and sully someone else's parade, I think just take a look at your own life. Because it's not all about that. When people are snooping and when people are watching and they're just waiting for you to mess up or trying to catch you out and see what's going on. No. I just think if I'm a very much person, if I go on and I watch something or I hear music, for example, or I see a film and I'm like, I don't really like that actor, I don't vibe with it, or I don't really like that music, or I don't like that YouTube person watching, I just stop watching. I don't sit there and watch or listen to it to try and catch people out or be like, oh, I wonder what they're doing now. No, if I don't find someone interesting, I don't care if they've gone and bought a Range Rover or a house. Like, it does not bother me. But unfortunately, that's not the way of the world. Sometimes people do like to use social medias to get the goss or try and cause drama. And you know, I just think, oh, go away. Go away. I can't be bothered with it. Just focus on you, enjoy life, and maybe put that energy into something a bit more positive. That could be a thing, perhaps. One of my lovelies says, hi Shannon, hope you're feeling better, and after watching your recent first Vlogmas, I can understand why you've taken some time out, and all I will say is, in capital letters, good on you, exclamation mark. I actually did feel a lot better after that time, because sometimes you just do need to have that time out. Everyone can get so caught up, but having that time out is what we need. A few years ago now, I was working in a well-known stationery / bookshop, and the manager kept leaving me in charge, but without much instruction on how to run the store, and other staff in the store basically took liberties. This went on for several weeks, as you can imagine, and it put massive strain on my physical and mental health. Oh, someone's car alarm's going. It's very windy down in the south, guys. It's setting alarms off left, right, centre. Dan's bike alarm keeps going, and I'm like, is that your alarm? He's like, yeah, it'll go off soon. I'm like, well, maybe we just need to check that it's not actually someone wanting to take it, and maybe it's just the wind. See, this is what annoys me, when management delegate to other members and then pee off. Like, you're paid a manager's wage, manage. If you're going to delegate, you can delegate some of that wage and salary down to the person you're delegating it to. It all came to a head one day. I asked the manager to have a word with the other staff, and she defended the other staff. So I promptly grabbed a piece of paper, wrote out my resignation letter, gave the manager the letter and the store keys, put my coat on and walked out. I love that. See, that's the thing that I think I'm going to get to with my work. I have my resignation letter sent. Not sent, it's in my drafts, ready to go. I just need to put the dates in. But I feel it could be the slightest thing, and I'll be like, nope, you know what, I'm going down and I'm sending it. And once it's done, it's done. The best thing I ever did, because a few days later, I managed to secure a great job, one of which I feel valued in and has a great atmosphere, and for the last 16 years has helped me get a great work-life balance. That's what we need in this day and age, guys. You need that work-life balance. As I say, it goes back to, you shouldn't be living to work, you should work to live and enjoy yourself. 5 days working for 2 days off, it doesn't equate right. And as I say, there's a lot of places now that do 4-day working weeks. Will my company ever do that? Hell no. Whatever decision you come to on your current job, just make sure you do it for you. Toxic workplaces are definitely not good for the mental health. And wishing you and Mama G good health. Hugs and love. Hugs and love back. And as I say, that is a thing I'm trying to get my head around. Like, I speak with Brogan and I speak with James and I check in with everyone, and the general consensus is money comes and goes. Yes, money is nice and it allows you to have nicer things, but would I take a pay cut to come home and not be so agitated, not wake up and think, oh, can't be bothered to go in today, like what else is going to happen? That was the thing that I still have the feeling I don't have as much of the anxiety attacks in the morning now. I don't get like the sickness in the belly and that. Some days I do, if it's been a tense day before, you're a bit like, But it is the what now? What is going to be said, or what am I not allowed to do, or what am I not allowed to say, or what are they going to moan at? What can I not eat? What can I not drink? Like something, I feel people just want to be offended. People in this day and age love to be offended, and I just think, why? Put your big girl or big boy pants and socks on and get on with it. Absolutely get on with it. But hey ho, that's just me. One of my lovelies says, I'm part of management within my office and my staff actually cause me stress. It's mainly one individual. She walks around the office moaning about her personal life, but when I try to ask her what the issue is, she won't tell me. There have been a couple of instances where she has literally had a go at me for the most silliest of things. An example is at work, me and a colleague were talking about a hypothetical situation of winning the lottery and what would you do? I said that I would quit my job and travel. Oh, I'm with you there, girl. Hallelujah, yes. Then my staff member raised her voice at me and said, no, you can't do that, you would run out of money. So I just responded with, not if I'm that savvy with my spending. It's been pointed out to her about the way she talks, but she still doesn't get it. Now, this is what irritates me, okay? Let me make sure there's not a part 2 to that before I start going on a rampage. No. I don't know what it is. Tell me if it's just an office work environment, but you know, like if you're having a chat with a colleague, why does everyone feel the need that they can just butt in your conversations? You're having a hypothetical conversation there. Oh, imagine winning the lottery. And then someone tries to put a realistic spin on it. Like, no. If you won the lottery, half of it I'm investing. So while I'm spending the other half, I'm earning interest on the other half and I'm being smart about it. You know, sometimes you think you have a conversation. I have it at work. I'll be having a natter with one of the lads or whatever. And someone will just throw that 2p in. And I'm like, what's the point? This conversation isn't involving you. It isn't relating to you. Why do you feel the need to stick your oar in? And now you've just ruined the whole vibe and the mood. You've took like a jokey situation and tried to turn it so serious. No, we're not about that. We need to have that little bit of banter and fun. But yeah, I'm just like, That from a management side, as you say, when you're hearing that someone may be having problems and they're expressing it around the office, you as a manager would say, is there anything you want to talk about? If she's saying no, you can't do any more, darling, because you're reaching out to her. And if she's like, point blank no, what are you supposed to do, eh? What are you supposed to do? So please don't feel bad or beat yourself up about that, because if she doesn't want to share with you, then that's her thing. But if it starts to affect her work or it gets nasty towards yourself, then that's where things would have to be discussed, eh? Be discussed and looked into. So, right, here we go. We've got a long one. I love these. I left my work after 11 years. We got a new boss at my old workplace and they were bullies from day dot. When I become pregnant with my 2 children at work, I can remember I went to see my boss with my newborn baby and he told me I'm going to lose my job if I don't come back more earlier than I was meant to. I'm sure that's illegal, right? Don't women have like set maternity time that they have to have off? My little girl was only 3 weeks old and he said I've got to go for a meeting to get my job back because I didn't come back to work when I should have because I had to leave early on maternity. Because of health reasons, he told me to come back in 3 months for a meeting. I did, and he told me, are you sure you're fit enough to come back to work? You might have postnatal depression, which I didn't. I just had a baby and it's called being tired. Anyway, I went back to work when my daughter was around 4 months old. They were still being horrible, giving me less hours and making me work on Christmas and Boxing Day. 5 years later, still working for them, I got pregnant with my 3rd child. I was scared to tell them after 5 months pregnant to get the courage to tell them, and that was where they was really happy for me, which was weird. I had to leave early again because of pregnancy had been very difficult on my body and my job was a very physical one. Also probably for health and safety reasons. It's better to maybe leave a bit earlier if you are in a physical job because you got to think of you and baby. I would be on my feet for 6 hours with no break, and after I had my boy they asked me to come in again, which I did. They said to me, didn't even congratulations or acknowledge me. I walked out crying and waited until I got paid all the maternity money and holiday money left and emailed them when I was meant to go back. I emailed them to go shove their job up their arse. I'm here for this. You horrible, pitiful crap. And told them you're the worst bosses anyone can have and that they were bullies. And go shove the job where the sun don't shine. After I did that, I told my work colleagues, 5 of them, and they all walked out also, which was amazing. They had no staff left to work. Brilliant. I don't regret the email. Sorry it's a long one. I've got so much and sorry what they done and got away with it. I'm here for that. You know what? Amen to that. It sometimes only takes that one person to stand up for other people to think, no, this isn't right. Almost like a revolutionary person. A revolutionised format of being like, no, this is not acceptable and we need to stand up. You see on the organisations of people doing strikes, left, right, centre. Striking. Okay, you go do your strikes. Then many times I say in my workplace, why can we not strike? Why can we not take a stance? I probably would be the only one there because unfortunately people don't like to rock the boat sometimes. However, as I say, and a lot of you guys have said, you can't stay quiet. If you feel something is wrong or you feel something is not quite as it should be, speak up. Speak up and be like, absolutely not. Oh my goodness, I'm saying speak up and you're growling. I know, I'm going to feed you later, okay? I've not had much to eat today, guys. I will feed you later, alright? Stop. Stop. No. Oh my goodness, you're proper growling at me today. Stop it. Thank you. And then rounding out on this one, again, another long one, my lovelies. Hey, lovely lady. Strap yourself in because this will be a long one. I started in my job in education, primary school. Start of 2022, and at this time I was 26 years old. Obviously I was nervous and I was to work alongside another lady who was a lot older, I'd say 40 plus years, and go from the get-go day one. She was trying to warn me off people, telling me very obvious lies about these people. There's no point in that. That is toxic from the get-go. If you've got someone who is supposed to in essence be like your tutor or your guide person and they're like, oh, I won't go near that because XYZ, or I won't talk to them. That's like, I think people can tell me their opinions about someone, but I will make up my own mind. Like, I will still give that person the benefit of the doubt, and if you do me wrong, then okay, that's it. But you're not always going to get on with everyone, and not everyone will get on with everyone else. You could get on great with someone and other people detest them. But I do like to think I have a good judge of character. I do think I have that. As time went on, it got worse and worse. She isolated me from the other staff and would also pile huge workloads onto me to do. And she would do the bare minimum. I couldn't say anything to the head teacher about her as I was afraid of her reaction, the work colleague, and how she would treat me. When the new school year started in September 2022, my mum got a job at the same school, so I felt a lot more safe. But it didn't end. It actually got worse, and I was treated like the lowest of the low. Well, that's like discrimination straight off. Absolutely not. A week before Christmas 2022, my daughter was hospitalised for a week, and then again the start of January. She was seriously ill and could have passed being left untreated. Oh my goodness, I do hope your little girl's better now. When my daughter recovered, thank goodness, I returned to work, but not full-time for a few extra weeks. A few months went by and things got worse and worse. Not just towards me, but other staff now. She would say she wants to hit people. See, I'm very much one, I say like I'll throw hands with someone, but I wouldn't just walk up to someone and be like, I'm going to smack you. Like, that's not how it is. I will row. If someone's getting in my face or someone's being verbally, I'm more than happy to stand up for myself. If I see someone swinging, I'm not just standing there. I will swing back, but I wouldn't just walk up to someone, swing unprovoked, or be like, you know what, I'm going to smack you. Like, no, 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 no. I'm a survivor of DV, and seeing her act like this was giving me flashbacks to the point I almost passed out in the classroom when she was threatening to hit people. No, I would have took that straight to management. She would get in people's faces shouting at them about little things, and she was spreading lies about the staff. So in the end I refused to talk to her or work with her, and I went to the boss and let everything out. From then, she has been nothing but trouble for the school, boss and myself. I've had to fit security cameras on my home. Oh my goodness. I'm a single mother, as her partner was verbally abusing me when I was alone in the street. I later found out she was telling staff when my daughter was hospitalised over an hour away. Oh God, 1 minute guys, waffling away so much there, my memory card went thingy. Hospitalised over 1 hour away, that how dare I leave her to do everything and work when my child had to undergo surgery for a very rare medical condition. Yes, darling, you got to take back that work that you was palming off beforehand. I've had to write statements for the school as evidence, and I've had to involve the police and get case numbers. My mental health was at rock bottom, and I was on the edge of a breakdown as I didn't feel safe in my workplace or my home. Because of her, I was bullied and harassed for over a year until I stood up and said, no, I'm not standing for this anymore. This person is still trying to cause trouble but no longer works at the school, and my mental health is stronger and I'm a lot happier now. Smiley face. I love that for you. The workplace could have done more to help and support myself, and I'll be forever grateful. I love that. I love that you had the support from your workplace. I just want to say I love you, and of course Mama G. Your videos bring me so much joy, and when watching I actually feel like we know each other. Not in an odd way. I'm sending you, Mama G, and your partner best wishes, Christmas joy, and can't wait for the Vlogmas videos. I look forward to them every year. Lots of love. Lots of love back. I am so glad that that rotten person is out. I'm so glad that you're a lot happier now. I'm glad that your daughter is on the mend. And this woman needs to get a life. Okay? This is the thing, right? You know when I say, guys, like, if you have problems, I'm like, call me up, message me. I would be down there. It's funny because when me and Brogan talk, we're like, you know what me and Brogan are like. If we was closer, guys, we'd be havoc. If we had someone message us and be like, girls, I'm having a little bit of trouble at work, we'd be like, right, hold on a minute. Let's get some caffeine. Where do we need to go and what do we need to do? Like, we're both very fiery women. And as I say, sometimes people don't like a fiery woman. People think maybe old-fashioned of how women should be and how women should act. And unfortunately, it's not like that. It's not always like that, guys. But I think that I can take from this, stand up for yourself. If you don't like things, change. Never, never, never let someone walk all over you. As I say, you can still hold yourself professionally, but you can hold yourself professionally, but in a way where people know they're not going to mess around with you. Absolutely not. Don't let someone try and rain on your parade. If someone is abusive to you, try and deal with things yourself. If not, and you take it to management, and management don't want to know, that's where you can go higher. There are people out there, employment law solicitors, tribunals, stuff like that. Like, you could go, depending on the circumstance, you could go all the way to the top on this. And as we say, money is not all the be all and end all. Is the money worth the stress and the detriment to our mental health and our physical health? Absolutely not. Is it worth coming home and being tired and dreading going back in? Absolutely not. So I have really enjoyed writing this out because I'm hoping that we can all leave the workplace dramas behind, and maybe 2024 can bring us all some new little surroundings, eh? New found ventures, new careers, new goals, everything like that. I'm very much for next year, like, focusing on goals, because I think it's the last year of my 20s. That scares me so much, like the last year of my goddamn 20s. And I feel there's so much more I want to achieve. I want to say I was in my 20s when I bought my first home. Like, I need to say that. I want to say that. I want to say I've got a camper van in my 20s. I want to say, like, I've travelled to however many places. Like, there's a lot of things. And I think you have to take every day as it is. And having an area where you don't feel happy in it's not good. And as I say, if you'd have seen the Vlogmas, guys, me taking that time out, I was able to actually do something that I enjoyed, and that was vlogging for you guys, that was doing editing, that was spending time with mum. Like, I definitely feel it's not about the 5-day working weeks right now. I really don't feel that is, but as I say, each to their own. Guys, I want to thank you all for sending your comments in, and I can't believe it's the last sit down with Shan. If you did enjoy the video, guys, you know what to do. Hit that thumbs up and subscribe down below. Leave us a comment. Do you have any dramas? What do you think of the comments coming in? Can you relate to any of them? Also, sit down with Shan. It's not going anywhere, okay? We're still rolling with this in 2024. Any ideas on topics? If you don't know what we've done, head over to the Sit Down with Shan playlist. We've spoke about everything or anything. If there's any topics you want me to revisit, please do let me know. And if there's anything you want me to do backdrop-wise, are we happy with it on the bed? Do we want it a little bit more cozier? Let me know down below, okay? But guys, take care, stay safe as always, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye, guys.